share and enjoy. React.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So this week I'm going to start off a new series that'll last like a few weeks on my channel about different festivals that I went to when I was in Korea. For about probably a month or so I'll be talking about different music festivals that I went to in Korea and how I got tickets and my experience there, and any tips and stuff like that I can give you about them. So yeah, because I used to do like a lot of ticketing help videos and things like that, so I thought I'd go back onto them and do a few more, and this really helps you guys. I feel like if you wanted to go and check out any of these sort of concerts, but you weren't sure how to get tickets, or you weren't sure about the accessibility for foreigners and things like that, so I can definitely touch on them for you. So yeah, I'm gonna kick it off with this episode, which is really the first one in the series. This also marks the end of my Map of the Soul Persona giveaway. So the last winner would have been announced, and yeah, thank you for everybody that participated, thank you for everybody that joined my channel in that time, and congratulations to all the winners. I will be doing a few more giveaways in a month or so, actually, after this series ends probably. I will also be going to Korea for a while because I'm going to see BTS at their muster. I was able to get tickets, which is really great, so there'll be a few videos on that, but I'm definitely doing another giveaway soonish, so keep an eye out for that. Now that I've done like the longest intro ever possible, let's jump into the first concert that I'm going to talk about, which is the Dream concert. I went to Dream concert last year in May. This year it's actually happening today as I'm filming this video. But essentially Dream concert is one of those like annually held concerts. Last year was the 24th. This year is the 25th anniversary. It has been running consistently for 25 years, which is pretty amazing. It is a pretty huge concert. They have like 20 or so K-pop guests that come and perform, and it is held at one of the big stadiums that they have in Korea, so it is pretty big production wise. And if you are a multi-fandom person like me, these are definitely what you want to get to, because you essentially get to pay to see a lot of your favorite groups perform, and it is really worth your money if you can navigate on how to get tickets and all that jazz. So let me first of all talk about my experience. I went last year, like I said. The acts were Shinies, Taemin was there, Red Velvet, 17, BAP, NCT, Lovelies, G-Friend, Mamamoo, Astro, Dia, UNB, UNIT, MXM, The Boys, Tracy, Golden Child, Weesung, Yuna were all there. It was a really interesting experience. It was the first giant festival that I went to kind of myself. I did go to the Jinny music festival. I think it's called the Jinny. Oh, I can't remember. No, the Guy on Charts. I went to the Guy on Charts one, but I did that through an SM Global package, which, I mean, if you want to know about how that works, I'm happy to do a separate video on that. But this one was much bigger in scale, and it wasn't an awards show, it was a performance show. So again, different vibes. You definitely have different vibes between a performance and an awards show. So yeah, I was really happy. I got to see a whole lot of my favorite groups. Like, I loved all of them. And yeah, to break up all of me talking, I'm going to insert a whole lot of clips here of the people I got to see. So as you can see, I was in the standing area, which is actually pretty amazing because the ticket I bought was actually for a spot in the stand. So the amazing thing about this is the tickets are literally 9,900 won, which is essentially is like $10–12 max. So you're paying like 12 bucks to go and see like almost 20 groups of these amazing performers, which like the whole thing lasted about like almost 3 hours, which is a huge bargain. I'm like, I was like, what the heck? How do you make money off of this? And what happened was, when I initially went in to do the ticketing, they used a new system last year, and it looked all sold out, and it was really hard to get a seat. So I went back in like about 2 weeks later, I think, or like 1.5 weeks later, and some seats were popping back up. So I bought one that I thought had an okay view, and about like a few days leading up to the concert, I actually got a text. And this is why it's good to buy official tickets, because if this happened to a reselling ticket, it wouldn't have worked, but because I bought mine myself, it happened to work out really well for me. Essentially, the text said, the area you're in has restricted view, so we've decided to upgrade your ticket to a standing ticket, which is amazing because generally speaking, the standing ticket you can't really buy as a general public, and because they're only available to foreigners. So some of you guys might be aware or might not be aware of Tracy. So Tracy is one of those companies that do sell like concert ticket packages for things like this to foreigners, and they are foreigners only. But yeah, so I got that free upgrade, which was really great. It was actually raining that day, which I really hated because it's an open top stadium. So I did have to, I was going to buy a raincoat, but actually they provided a free one at the venue, which is something that Korea does really well, and so does Japan. They often offer things on hot days or cold days or rainy days to kind of help you through. So I went to a concert once when it was really cold, and they were giving out free hot packs as you went in to like collect your ticket and all that stuff. Anyway, so let me just go through the process of how I got there. So essentially I got my ticket, I was just waiting for the day to come. I got this ticket upgrade. I had to take my passport with me as well as the text that they sent me to go and collect this ticket. You trade your ticket in, so your paper ticket, whatever ticket it is, and they give you a wristband. So this was my wristband. It is different for standing. So what happened with standing was they actually gave me another physical ticket. So if you're sitting it's different, but for standing they gave me another physical ticket, and then with that physical ticket I got into my own individual standing line, and then they sorted me into sections because on the ticket it doesn't actually say which standing section you are. You go in and then they kind of resort you into different standing sections. So I got A. I had no idea what that means. Like I said, I was meant to be sitting, so I was just really glad to have a wristband. I put the wristband on, they gave me a raincoat, and if you're ever standing in the stadium, often they will have a separate line for standing, and they'll take you like down under the arena into like a different entrance because you'll be on the lowest level. So it was like this whole trip around the whole arena, because the ticketing was at one end, and then to go to the actual ticket is like the other end, and then to go in you have to like go around. Essentially, if you want to get there like early, I would definitely get there like around an hour earlier just to work everything out, because the signage is really bad and a lot of the people who are there to help you don't speak English, so you do have to try and work with either a translating app or, you know, with the Korean that you know, because some of them won't understand English at all. And it did take me like 20 minutes to find out where to go to the booth to exchange my ticket, get my ticket and all that jazz. So do leave about an hour to get yourself in there with some time to spare. So yeah, now that I go in, they obviously have the different sections sectioned off, so you just have to show them your wristband and they'll let you into the section. There was a lot of people there, and like I said, because it was a foreigners only area, everybody there was essentially non-Korean. So there was a lot of like people who were traveling from different Asian countries. There were a few foreigners from, I think there was a few girls from America and in Europe and stuff like that, so they come and they experience. Essentially once you get in, you're kind of locked in there. You can go out for the toilet, but generally once the concert starts they won't let you go in and out a lot, mainly because a lot of the times where you're walking is also when like the artists get on and off the stage, so people often use that opportunity as a way to kind of follow the idol a bit closer, so they try and lock you in so you can't do that, and it's, you know, protects you as well as the artists. So it is a huge production. They have like all these cameras, they have MCs and all that, so everything plays out like, you know, because a lot of it is broadcast and filmed, and actually one of them is even on Netflix. So they do have MCs, and then they cut to like ad breaks, and then they do performances and stuff like that. Because it was raining, after every performance like a bunch of staff would get on stage to try and wipe off all the water, which is another thing that was making me really anxious, because it was raining and there were these girls in really high heels, and I was just really scared that they were going to slip on stage. So anytime a girl group came on with high heels, I like was having an internal panic of like, please don't fall, please don't fall. Luckily nobody fell, and it was an overall really fun experience, which you should have seen from the clips. So the great thing about this is not only do you get to see groups that you really like, you also get to discover some groups that you've never seen before. Like I never watched the unit, so when I went I had no idea about UNB and uni.t, so I saw them there and I actually really liked their music. So yeah, it's like a best of both worlds essentially. When it comes to filming, they weren't that strict, so a lot of people in the pit did have slightly bigger cameras. They are strict about two things. Number one, stools. If they see you with a stool, they will come in and take away your stool, mainly because you're obstructing somebody else's view, and that's not fair. And number two is if you're waiting in between, they don't generally allow you to sit on the floor. I mean, this didn't happen as much with us because it was raining, although some people do try and sit on the side like on their raincoat, but just because of crowd control and stuff like that, they try and make you stand for the whole time, which like again it was like 2-3 hours. So those are the two things that they monitored the most. Like I filmed with my phone a lot of the times. You can see in one of the clips I was really close to Sorgi from Red Velvet, because she just was like right in front of me where I was standing. She's so pretty, let me tell you guys. But yeah, they don't really restrict your phone filming and all that, and yeah, light sticks and all that are allowed, and generally it's a really chill vibe. I mean, if no like really huge groups go, it's generally quite a nice crowd. I mean, I'm talking because like later on I will talk about a few concerts where bigger groups like EXO and BTS and all Blackpink were there, and that's when the crowd can get a little bit nasty. But at this one I was lucky enough that all the people at the crowd were really nice. There was not a lot of pushing. I mean, I wasn't really squished up against the stage. I was like more relaxed at the back, but because it is a foreigner only section, only so many people in there, so it wasn't like a packed out space. You had lots of space to move around in. So yeah, if you wanted to go to a sort of festival concert and you don't want to be pushed around a lot, you want to have a pretty good view, I really would suggest going to the Dream concerts because they have a good lineup and they're cheap and they're really nice to go to, essentially. Like I said before, if you buy it yourself in person, the ticket's only about $12. If you do go with Tracy, they sell tickets around $300, so it is a lot more expensive, but they do give you that exclusive foreigners zone, which I'll actually mention that a lot in my next few videos because Tracy does offer that for a lot of different shows, but I wanted to give you the both perspective of how buying your own tickets will compare to buying it from somewhere else. The stadium they're in is pretty big, but they do have screens so you can still see them. Obviously if you're in the standing pit you are much closer, but that is something that you'll have to consider when you go and how much you're willing to spend on that concert. Overall, it was a really fun experience. Management of it wasn't too bad. Artists were performing on time. They were protecting the artists from the rain as much as they could. And yeah, like Taemin was the last one on stage and he is such a privilege to watch. And even as we were going out, he was still standing up like on the back and like waving to his fans, because like normally the Showls have their own section at the back, and yeah, so they were like waving their sticks back to him and he was waving his only light stick to them. It's actually really cute, so it is really fun. You do get a lot of interaction, you do meet a lot of international fans if you're in that foreigner standing zone, or if you are sitting you do meet some local fans if you don't mind chatting up with them and stuff like that. My only suggestion is, you know, be weather wary, so if it is raining, bring a raincoat. If it's cold, do bring a jumper, because you know, it is a live show to some extent, so there are a lot of sections where you are standing there and no one's performing and nothing's happening and ads are just playing and it's cold. It does get cold, so just be wary of like the weather and stuff like that. But apart from that, you'll definitely have a really good time. I believe this year they went through melon ticketing, which might be a little bit harder to navigate, but I'll link down below my Korean ticketing advice, because I do talk about some people that can buy tickets on your behalf and help you with that if that's something that you need. Again, you know, like $10-12 is so much cheaper than 300, so you know, again, up to you, but those are the two options available. Hopefully this was somewhat insightful. Please leave a comment down below if you have any questions. Like I said, there'll be a few other videos on different festivals. So this one was the Dream concert, and next week I'll do another one, and the week after I'll do another one. I do have a lot of video footage for them, so it wouldn't just be me talking. Hopefully it's not too bad listening to my voice, and hopefully I'm providing a somewhat useful explanation. But thank you for watching. If you like this series, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and yeah, I will see you guys at my next video next week about a different concert. Okay, bye!